check, 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 chop it down, check, 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 chop it down, chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down, chop it down, chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Die.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of Trap or Die Podcast. I'm your host of the Trap or Die Podcast, Mual. And here with the fellas, man. AJ in the building. Dre in the building. I see everybody in the chat, man. Realistic. Appreciate you subscribing, man. And you was in here early. Earlier this stream, say 6:11. I appreciate that, man. And welcome to the Trap or Die YouTube channel. Welcome to the Trap or Die family, bro. Appreciate you checking in at the right time. Tell you that. Kevin, what's up? Monty, what's up? Scrim, what's up? Benz, All Talk, what's up? If you are new to the YouTube side, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit us with a like as well. We definitely appreciate that. Audio side, same thing. If you are new, man, hit that follow button. If you haven't hit us with a rating and review, definitely do so. We appreciate that. It's free to do that and take 10 seconds as well to show you support that way. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's game preview, Brian. Before I get to the fella, let me go ahead and add in our guest, man. Look, he ain't got no Ravens duty today. You know what I'm saying? The boys have made it further than Baltimore for the first time in ever. So let's go ahead and get our good man Cordell on the show, bro. Cordell, welcome back, big dog. How you feeling, bro?
What's good, man? Appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, likewise. Hey, we see you got the
what's the jersey today?
Oh yeah, you know it's
it's the Jaden joint. Okay, all right.
I'm trying to get the black one, man. They got restocked for that. I've been waiting on that jump for a minute, but they've been out of order.
I'm glad you said that.
Shout out to Wifey on the purchase, like you told us last time you was
right.
I'm glad you said that, bro. Because I was trying to figure out like if I should go up to the stadium because I'm trying. I mean, I got my shirt. You know, I'll be wearing my shirt everywhere, but like I'm trying to get me a jersey at this point, bro. It's time. I'm trying to cop the black zone, but he said it's low. It makes sense because the black zone too cold.
But it was Christmas too. You know, all the kids was getting that joint for Christmas.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try and figure that out. Dre, AJ, what's up with y'all? How y'all feeling, bro?
Hey man,
championship. That's how I'm feeling, bro.
Yeah, doing good, man. Blessed to be here with y'all talking about Commanders and championship weekend. Like, I mean, I had a feeling like Dan Quinn was gonna be able to turn this thing around. I didn't know it was gonna be year one. We'd be talking about being one game from the Super Bowl. So it's a bit like a shock, but I'm living in reality right now, and I think that the opportunity is there for them to go get it.
But you know what's wild is like when opposing fans used to insult us back in the day, they used to always say shit that I never used to say, but they claim that all Washington fans would be like, man, every year y'all say y'all going to the Super Bowl. That is crazy. We only got one game standing in between us from the Super Bowl. We can talk it if we want to now.
And it makes sense for one fan base that applies to, and it's them boys in Texas, bro.
You know,
hey. I know we had plenty of conversation on here and people on our social media when they hired Dan Quinn. Everyone was focused on the rebuild. Man, this was not a rebuild at all. It was a recalibration, and everything has pointed to that. We've even had other guests on here, JT Finley, shout out to him, you know, where I asked, hey, why can't this team be the Houston Texans and more year one? So it's just interesting. A lot of content has been coming out that further proves that whatever the masses is saying as far as fan base or media pundits is not what they believe within that locker room. They truly believe that they're supposed to be at this position within their season, and they plan on seizing that opportunity.
Hey, Cordell, man, last we spoke with you, obviously it was the Baltimore-Washington matchup. I mean, of course, there's no denying like the update. I mean, the resume has been updated for Washington, but as the season moved along, man, and obviously you followed your team as much as you can, given your priorities. I mean, you can't. I mean, it's the conference championship game, but still, I gotta ask, like, how impressed are you from like the moment you had to actually preview the Commanders-Ravens versus to like where they are actually right now?
Nah, it's insane. You go from optimism, to truly having to believe. You have to believe right now when you get to this round. This conference championship round. This ain't a fluke. This is a legit shot to win it all at this point. You're a step away from getting to that game. So it's no longer just trying to project the future. You're kind of seeing it right now with the way that they play. And I think John Harbaugh said something going into the divisional round that he was like, man, we're at the round where, it's the top 4 teams in each conference. And you look, and, when Washington's been at their best this year, like truly at their best and really hit their stride, man, they've looked like one of the tougher teams in the conference. And like I said, that's still something that's tough to wrap your head around. But I do give a lot of credit to Dan Quinn because I was one of those people that didn't know what to expect going in. He wasn't, necessarily my first option last summer, but I give him credit for having these dudes ready to play every week. All these big games, especially the playoffs, man, just to go on the road in these environments to win the games that they have. I'll say that they always have looked like they're ready to play each game this season and definitely so far this postseason. So that's a huge credit to that coaching staff.
And Cordell, I wanted to speak on something. You mentioned something about not being a fluke, like this whole thing. And there's a conversation with a lot of people going on around right now, and I feel like you're the perfect person to answer this because obviously you cover the Ravens, you cover Lamar Jackson, who's been a stud, 2-time MVP, possibly 3 times coming up. Now, a lot of people that don't like what Jaden is doing, or they're skeptical about what Jaden is doing right now, they like to think that he's going to be a CJ Stroud next season versus why can't he be more like the Lamar Jackson? And I'm not even saying comparing the two as the same type of passers or the same type of players, but I'm saying why can't, why do people not see that this guy maybe could
to
be
ascend?
Yeah,
that's actually a little disrespectful. I ain't mean it like that, CJ, but you get like the narrative behind him is negative.
Right. But for you, what have you seen from Jaden? Do you think this could be like a Lamar type of dude where it keeps getting better and not regressing to wherever people think the CJ Stroud is right now?
No, I mean, that's a good question because, Jaden has done a lot of things that you don't expect a rookie to do. I was telling somebody yesterday, like the difference for me between Jaden and CJ's rookie year is, CJ looked like a good rookie his rookie year. He looked like a good rookie where, I mean, you got even Vic Fangio just said it the other day. You don't watch Jaden and think that's a rookie at all. He just don't really make a lot of he doesn't really have a lot of rookie tendencies.
Just
anticipation throws. Yeah, like anticipation throws alone are not rookie things you see from a rookie. That's not stuff CJ was doing last year. CJ looked good, but he didn't look like this, and he didn't have the moments that Jaden has. So I think the other reason people probably wonder if Jaden can stack it again, and not to really even try to gas him, but it's because he has raised the bar so much for himself that people don't know what the next, the next developmental phase for Jaden Daniels is because the first level looks so good, So it's like, how do you build off that? What type of territory are we talking about this dude getting in if we're really to assume that he's going to get better and better each year? So I think, Jaden can sustain it because if he has the work habits that they say he does, if he has the study habits, if he has the poise that he has, that poise is something that's usually developed. The fact that he has it like he does right now, it's just tough for me to imagine that he would take that step backwards next year. But hey, just looking at a devil's advocate, it was tough for me to see the team progressing as quickly as it did this year. So anything can happen. It's a tough league, and just staying consistent every year and getting better is one of the things that separates those elites from the guys that are good.
Yeah, with you covering the Ravens, you've had the opportunity to see how much culture can elevate a team and its beliefs and how they maneuver as an organization. But also being around a Lamar Jackson, you have been able to witness a true dual threat quarterback and someone also off the field that is a dual threat, and being able to galvanize guys and cultivate relationships. How important do you think that is at the quarterback position? I mean, because we're seeing Jaden Daniels do that. A lot of people harp on the fact of being a rookie, but as a human being, he's able to lead men older than him with families, with wives, kids, side chicks, whatever the case is, right? Like, how impressed are you from a standpoint outside looking in, or maybe even some of your colleagues you've had conversations with that cover the team, and how he's been able to pull that off in just year one of his NFL career?
Nah, that's a really good point, because it's like two layers to that. Number one, there's the natural element of he's a rookie. We're talking about dudes that done been in this league. We talk about, look at just take Terry, who done seen every quarterback there is under the sun already running there. He done seen the hyped one. He done seen, some of the ones that are just band-aids. He done seen it all, and to get a dude like him to truly start to believe, I think that says that Jaden showed him that immediately. He earned his trust immediately. He showed them, even with some of the things he did off the field, that this is a dude that gets it. This is a dude that wants it. This is a dude that's truly committed. A lot of rookies, I talk to a lot of rookies, man, that struggle with initially having to understand what it takes to mentally be prepared as an NFL football player. And we're talking about just guys that play other positions, not the one where bullets are truly flying at you all game and you got to make decisions on the fly. So for a guy like a quarterback to truly come in prepared and get guys to believe that not only is he a truly talented guy, but mentally this dude is locked in, ready to go, that's a huge thing. But I think the second layer with Jaden is the franchise that he's doing this with, how bad this franchise. He not only has gotten the players to buy in, he's gotten the fan base to buy in. He got his coaches to buy in immediately. He got the front office. They all knew. I don't think the people that were truly around him from the beginning are surprised in what he's doing. Probably the team, but not necessarily him. I think he has really just, people bought in with him immediately. Fans probably just from seeing him play on the field, but for a lot of the guys on the team and around the team, they probably see a lot of what he does off the field that you probably don't normally see from any rookie.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, just to add on to it, like even the first playoff game, the wild card game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, his former two wide receivers that got drafted first round, they're entering their first offseason. You know how that typically goes. You've been around rookies. So, they finally get in a moment to chill. They got their big bag. They can go on vacations, all type of different things. Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. took their time off of their weekend to go and support Jaden Daniels in person at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. That alone just tells you how much of a leader he is and how much he knows how to build and have relationships, that those guys would even take the moment to go sit in the stands, not in the suite, sit in the stands amongst fans. And they just had amazing rookie years as well with the Giants and the Jaguars respectively. So yeah, man, I love it. And I just wanted to kind of touch on that here.
Yeah. AJ, I mean, that's an excellent point. It's just a symbolism of exactly what he brings to, I mean, same thing with Cordell said, just a symbolism of what he brings to the people that surrounds him, and the people that, he comes across. I mean, those two in college, or maybe even further. I don't know how far back they date, but then obviously the people in the city, people, they don't even have to like see him in person. They know enough through his interviews. They know enough about the people who talk about him. They know about obviously through his play and just his demeanor. And in the post game, like, bro, I said it jokingly, but I think it was the game he beat the Falcons, and he had that delayed reaction after he threw the touchdown to Zach Ertz. I said, bro, he gonna win the Super Bowl and not realize he won it until they get back into the locker room. Like that's how calm and cool of a dude that he is, bro. But like in the moment, he's just present. But like everybody loves that man. And it's evident. Let's get into our show. We got Cordell for the show, man. So let's go ahead and start with our burning questions. I got one. Let's go ahead and preview these guys over here in Philly, man. So my burning question, to kick things off, I got a few, but I'm gonna roll with this one. I see what we got left. But my first one is, who are the biggest X factors on both sides of the ball? And what I mean by that is, like, if we can think of one, I mean, obviously Jaden, if y'all want to say Jaden on offense, that's perfectly fine. But who's one on defense that you're really hoping or that has to step up? And then obviously the same thing on offense. Chat, I see y'all. If y'all want to give y'all X factors too, let's hear them. Who are y'all X factors?
I guess I'll go first. For me, it's actually two names that jump to mind, and I'm going to say the X factors, and I'm going to start with the offense. De'Ami Brown. And De'Ami Brown's an X factor because De'Ami Brown's ascending right now. Like, he's been playing amazing in the playoffs. Like, this is a De'Ami we haven't seen. Like, this is, AJ is even giving this man props on the show, and we never thought we would see that happen. But what's happening is when De'Ami's having big games, this offense is having big games because now you have more than Terry that's just a threat out there. Even with Austin Eckler, who has been a security blanket for Jaden whenever he's healthy out there, you add a De'Ami Brown who is a viable number 2 receiver out there, which he's been in the playoffs, then you add an extra element to this offense, and this offense becomes more dangerous. As we talked about on this show, kind of, when we're praising De'Ami, it's not just the screen passes anymore that he's good at. Now you're able to get De'Ami more on those downfield routes. Like, De'Ami's able to do so much more, and it just gives Jaden that extra option on offense when we thought we had no more options outside of Terry, especially when Noah went down. Like, De'Ami has been huge in the passing game, so he's definitely an X factor. If he's playing well, this offense is likely going to play well because what those other guys are going to bring, but what is De'Ami Brown going to bring? And I'm going to the defensive side. The defensive side, my X factor is John Allen. And John Allen, because John Allen's been playing. Obviously he had his injury. He's had to get work back in. But now that he's getting settled in, we're starting to see the kind of John Allen of old. He's starting to play some really good football. And he didn't play those first 2 Eagles games. Like, he missed both of those Eagles games. And you need every dog you can get, especially when you're going up against a running attack like Philadelphia has with Saquon. You need John Allen because, in my opinion, I could be wrong. You all may disagree, but he is the best interior defensive lineman on this team. So you need that type of weapon on the defense. So he is the X factor on defense, along with De'Ami on the offense for me.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and I think you could list a lot of X factors that need to be in play for this particular matchup, especially with the Super Bowl appearance on the line. I'll say offensively, your offensive line. You need
got the whole unit. Hell yeah, I get it. You
need to play with continuity. You need to communicate well, especially going against the Jalen Carter and the absence of a Sam Cosmi. I'm not a big Sam Cosmi fan. I don't think he necessarily has done well in the matchups against Jalen Carter ever. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out a plan on not necessarily stopping Jalen Carter all the way, but at least make it to where he's not as impactful as we've seen him all season. Even in the game in the snow against the Rams, he was able to force a fumble. He was able to get in the backfield on run plays. He was sacking Matt Stafford. You need to limit that as much as possible. Another component offensively.
Well, let's pause the offensive line. You still got the floor, but I do want to talk about the offensive line right quick because I think somebody else mentioned offensive line. Trent Scott, Anthony Boyd in the chat. He mentioned Trent Scott. What do y'all think about just generally with this offensive line aspect, man? Because I think honestly, part of the question that we asked on Tuesday, we asked for the confidence level, and you all, concern level. AJ said it was a 2 out of 5. Dre, I forgot your number. I think you said 3. Yeah. I'm higher than a 3. I'm at like a 4.5
You
on
might
that
as
side, bro.
well say 5 then.
And I know I might as well say 5.
No such
bro.
thing as halfway crooks, man.
Hey, so
y'all in these halves, man. Just say 5.
I'm at all right, fine. That's fair. I'm at a 5, bro. And I'm at a 5, like, because I understand that they'll have a game plan to protect Jaden and obviously find a way, because they got to run the football. They'll find a way to get things done, like in terms of like the strategy, right? But I also think that I'm afraid that they may end up like trying to dedicate too much resources, which is what sometimes you got to do it. But they may end up dedicating too much resources, and that frees up opportunities on across the board for other people. Like Brandon Coleman, he's gonna have to have a game of his life because he's on the opposite side, and they're not gonna put Jalen Carter on the outside. So like, he's gonna have to have a game of his life protecting that one-on-one situations. Unless you like do slide protections. I don't know how you want to do it. And then like the chip and releases, they've done that consistently throughout the season. That's not a big deal, but sometimes like if you allocate those guys to the flats, like you only have like maybe 2 vertical routes. Like it doesn't limit your offense, but it's more so like I feel like, you know, if you can take away your vertical threats or take away their vertical threats, like it becomes something where, you know, it probably plays into the favor of Vic Fangio. I'm not too sure, bro, but like I just think like thinking further along, I think dedicating too much resources to like try to stop one of the most powerful, dominant defenders, obviously in the game today, is probably the right thing to do. But it's like it may limit you a little bit. So how do you like you gonna really have to count on some people to make some plays like the Army that you mentioned, and maybe even B-Rob, like they got to pop off. Also Eckler too. I'm sorry, but like, what do y'all think about the offensive line?
Well, I think a second part of my X factor offensively to like counter what's going on with Eagles defensive line front, and also Josh Sweat, the Nolan Smiths of the world, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, those guys. Washington still has to play their game, but utilize a lot of pony. And the pony would be B-Rob and Austin Eckler in the backfield together. Throw those linebackers off, throw the linemen off. They don't know with the misdirection, the motion of what's truly happening. If it's a run play, is it a quarterback keep? Is it a pass to Eckler or B-Rob? I think we've seen that even in the first matchup be very productive for them, being able to get up and down the field. Unfortunately, it didn't capitalize on some red zone opportunities, but creating that tempo, throwing them off, keeping those guys on the field and not being able to substitute, tiring those individuals could be the counterattack for what you have to worry about in regards to Jordan Davis. I mean, I'll let you guys answer the rest of the question before I get into defensive X factors. Yeah. But yeah, that would be my positioning. I would go pony like Genuine.
I think offensive line is always a concern when you're going up against Philly because of how talented they are in the trenches, how talented they are just on the defensive side of the ball in general, especially up the middle. And the Commanders have had a tendency a lot this year to where specifically the run game is led by Jaden. I've gotten a little nervous at times because I feel like everything is getting put on his plate at times, and against good teams like this, sometimes that could bite you. Now, it won him the game, especially that second time around. Jaden, I mean, that was the game of his life. 5 touchdown passes. He also led them in rushing in that game too, had some late game rushes that really changed the game for sure. So sometimes that's what you need, especially right now. But that's going to be a defense that's definitely motivated and hunting. So I think the offensive line is going to be imperative for them to hold up, because I wonder how much blitzing you're going to see from Philly in this game, especially when you look at how he diced up that Detroit defense at times and just how talented Philly is up front in general. I mean, they have the ability to kind of rush 3 or 4 if they want to and kind of set everybody back. So I think that the Commanders is going to be imperative that they're not allowing them to get pressure when they're just rushing 3 or 4, because then you really start to get in trouble. Like you said, having to allocate too many resources, especially if they're already beating you by just basically staying in their base defense and not having to be aggressive with their play calling.
Cordell, what was Baltimore Ravens utilization in regards of slowing down Jalen Carter when they faced them? I don't remember exactly what week, but
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
maybe about a month ago, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they have the luxury of having a 300+ pound fullback in Patrick Ricard that they can kind of use in different ways.
Man, Deron Payne gonna have to play both sides.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because Pat, that's a lot of what he does. He helps. Now, granted, it wasn't a great day offensively for the Ravens offense that day. That's kind of what lost them the game. You know, their offense, the game was hanging above the stadium. It felt like forever, like a ladder match. And neither offense wanted it until Saquon broke that run. And it's like, all right, Philly just took it. But Baltimore's offense really never got going, and Jalen Carter did make a lot of crucial plays in that game. I remember a couple of third down stops from him because Baltimore's trying to run it up the middle, and I think that's what bit Washington in the first game against Philly. It was at least 2 or 3 times that I remember them trying to run it on third and short situations and Jalen Carter blowing it up in the backfield. So I think you're with Baltimore. Now, Baltimore is not it's not out of the ordinary for them to do things like blocking 6 or 7 at times and only sending 3 out. That's right up their alley. I'm not necessarily a fan of that with the Commanders situation, but you know, you got to do what you got to do to keep your quarterback clean. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, and they're able to send out more people as passing options for him. But I do think it's going to be tough sledding in that game, trying to stop that front, especially in the middle.
I think for me, the best thing you can do against this defense is what Washington is already kind of strong at, and that's playing fast, like playing the tempo. Mm-hmm. When I watched that Rams game, when the Rams were playing the Eagles, when I started to see Stafford really start to have success is when they were tiring out that defensive line, when they were playing fast. I want to see Jalen Carter huffing and puffing over there. Like, I want to see him tired. I want to see him exhausted. I think that's the best way you can do it, is wearing them out, going fast, going up tempo. Not only that, finding ways to get, you know, those quick passes out of Jaden's hands. You don't want Jaden having the ball too long in this game. I think Kirk Benkart brought up a great point when we talked to him yesterday. He was saying you want multiple hands on Jalen Carter at all times. You know, you want to slap protection towards his way, or, you know, things like that, just to kind of get him out of the way, because that's the number one thing. I mean, they obviously have more talent. You have, you know, Josh Sweat, you know, guys like that can rush the passer. But again, I mean, Jalen Carter is the key. That's who I'm worried about. And again, I'm going fast. I want that defensive line tired. I'm playing into Washington's strengths. Washington already plays up tempo, and they're great at playing up tempo. That's what they've been doing all the playoffs so far. So you get into that mode, you get Jaden into that rhythm, you take the crowd out of the game, you know, and then you want the offense to have what they have in favor. So yeah, I'm going fast against Philly all game as much as possible, wearing that defense out.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely all good plans. But, you know, just to end up my portion of the burning question defensively, you also need that front seven to stop Saquon Barkley. I think everything starts and ends with stopping Saquon Barkley. I don't believe Jalen Hurts is healthy enough to be a factor in the run game. If you can continue to stop Saquon, the second half of their last matchup, what was week 16, I think Saquon only ran for 20-some yards. If you can continue to do that, have Deron Payne helping and setting the edge and getting after that run game, I am perfectly fine with going into this game and forcing Jalen Hurts to beat me with his arm. I want Jalen Hurts to possibly throw for 300+ yards in order for them to win. But yeah, like Aaron White just said the goal is to stop Saquon Barkley. So if you can slow down Saquon, man, you definitely have a great chance. Yeah, it really just boils down to the line of scrimmage both ways for me, in my opinion, when it comes to this matchup.
Cordell, who's your X factors?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. You know, I'm probably gonna go group on the offensive side. I'm gonna go with the running back group, man. I think it's gonna be imperative that the Commanders force them to respect the run game. You can't get into a situation with that team to where you just dropping this dude back 50 times and letting them just pin their ears back and coming after him. That's just not what you want, especially with Cosme out right now. So they're going to have to, that goes into wearing that defensive front out, running the ball, running hard, breaking a couple of arm tackles, dragging some dudes. I want to see a level of desperation from these dudes that I ain't seen yet. We talking about the Super Bowl, a chance to play in the Super Bowl being on the line. I need them to look like that. So that means
that John Riggins energy.
Yeah, man. You lowering that
Man,
shoulder.
who the hell knows what John Riggins' energy looks like?
Oh, come on,
Hey,
AJ.
man,
Come on, bro.
Come on, AJ.
I told you how old Dre is, bro.
Hey,
but
you need to know your team's history if you're gonna be a fan of this team.
Like, nah, he is a historian. Drake
Hey, man,
YouTube,
show me some of that Abraham Lincoln energy. What?
That's the first Super Bowl right there, bro.
That boy running. Man.
I was not even a thought yet.
That's a train. That used to be a train.
History. Don't disrespect history.
B-Rob need to be, man. B-Rob need to be that train. Even if it ain't necessarily picking up 8 yards a pop, I just need them to run hard. I need you to wear them out. Force, be tough to tackle. That's all I ask. Same with Eckler. Eckler's been really good for them, especially in passing situations too, and getting chunk runs and running hard, dog. I like what Eckler has done for them in the backfield, and McNichols too. So it's going to take all of them, but I don't want it to be where Jaden is the offense. Not in this game. I think this is a game where the backfield needs to help him out. Defensively, I agree. Saquon is the number one target in this game. You need to hit 26 every single time he touched the ball, and especially before he gets to that second level, because he gets to the second level, odds are you ain't catching him. And if he does, I'm looking at guys like Frankie Louvu, who has brought the energy all year, who's made some of these tone-setting plays, like knocking Jared Goff on his butt. Like that's the type of stuff that you need.
Got them fans hating on him.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It is what it is. He better get out the way. He got to get out the way. Jared Goff know what it is. He's been around the league long enough to know what it is. You got to get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Yeah. Frankie and them dudes, I think they're going to be a big part of shutting down Saquon and making sure he's not, getting to that third level, but also hitting Hurts whenever he decides to keep the ball, man. I like what Joe Witt said, and best believe Philly's going to have that same mentality when it comes to Jaden too. Best believe that. So I definitely want to see Frankie Louvu kind of be that tone setter that he's known to be for the defense.
All right, so for me, a couple of my guys got taken, but I mean, honestly, with so many different, with the tasks that they got ahead of them, you need so many different players to step up. So I'm gonna go defensively. I think Marshawn Lattimore is gonna be one. That's one of the bigger ones. I think for Washington, one of the things that they're going to focus on is Saquon, right? And what does that do for your back end? Is going to give these guys opportunities. Even in the first game, I think like their arrogance on the Philly side, there's nothing wrong with it either. Their competitive arrogance, bro, they're not scared to challenge anybody that's your strength. And Marshawn got it that first game. Like he had, I think it was like 5-6 targets, seven targets on his ass, bro. And like when you're talking about a team that's committed to running the football, and you're talking about a defense who understands what your strength is and is trying to take that away from Saquon and put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands. Okay, I have no doubt that Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore is going to take advantage, or challenge this secondary in so many different instances. So I think Marshawn and AJ Brown, they're going to be going up against it. Personally, I think from a secondary standpoint, cornerback specifically, I think that as much as I like Noah Igbenogany, I don't think this is his game. I think this need to be Mike Sandersteele and Marshawn Lattimore game. What I mean by that is wherever Devontae Smith and AJ Brown go, them two need to be on them two at all times. And Noah, you check Jahan. That's what you stay on, bro. You stay on the decoy, bro. But those two are the people that need to stay on their top two dogs. But I think Marshawn is going to be a guy that gets challenged a lot, rightfully so, because that's the nature in Philadelphia. Is they're going to challenge you as soon as that run game gets stopped, or they feel like you're gonna be light in the secondary because you focusing on the box. They're going to take their chances. So I think that Marshawn is going to be an X factor for this game. And if you can turn him over and scare Jalen into throwing away from you, that's perfectly fine. Offensively, I think my X factor is going to be Zach Ertz. This is a revenge game for him again. I have no idea what him and Sirianni said at the end of that game when Washington won at Northwest. I have no idea what they said, but I think for Zach, man, I said this on the morning show. I've said this probably Tuesday. I've said it on social media. Like, bruh, his competitive nature is oozing out of him in all facets of the game on offense. The run game, he's blocking his ass off. The passing game, he's sitting. Bruh, matter of fact, AJ, you posted a clip of the Zach Ertz mic'd up. Bruh, the dude is putting people on their ass running his routes, bruh. Like, he is really locked in from every single aspect of the game. And I think you bring that same thing, and I have no doubt that he will. But you bring that same thing to Philadelphia, and you create yourself an opportunity against these linebackers and against the Philadelphia coverage. Create yourself be that outlet for Jaden, which I think he can be. And Jaden in that chemistry, like he's not. Jaden isn't the person who like locks in on one person, but like he shares the ball clearly through his targets or the people that he target. But Zach Ertz, I think this is one of those ones where it's like, I need to be the person who gets open quick for him. I need to be the person who can convert these first downs for him. And I think for Washington, if we're talking about somebody who can win quickly, the old man, the 45-year-old man, Zach Ertz is going to be that X factor for me offensively.
And if you haven't seen the mic'd up Zach Ertz video from the Detroit Lions game, man, I recommend go watching it. I posted a few tidbits of my personal liking, but like Mual just touched on, he was like, whoever number 6 is, he can't see me. He can't see me. He can't see me at all. Like you heard the dog of him. You also seen the encouragement that he was giving to B-Rob. He was like, that's the number 8 I like to see. That's the number 8 I know. Like that's the number 8 that we all have been wondering what the hell is going on. Like I said on here, confidence been shot. But, even B-Rob said on the sideline back to Ertz was like, in order to eat, you got to get fed. And my stomach feel a little full today. Like, so there's a lot of tidbits in there. But Zach Ertz is definitely a great X factor. May not be Travis Kelce, Brock Bowers, or all these other tight ends after the run, but he knows the nuances of route running and how to get open in limited amount of space.
Let's go ahead and take our break, and then we can get back, honestly, to a couple more X factors. I'm sure we got a couple more, and then get to our predictions, man. So let's go ahead and hear from the good men and women over there at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play champions. It is the best place to cash in on all your takes during the playoffs. Which players are going off and which ones are ice cold. But with 5 million happy players and $2 billion, went to $2 billion. I just need 4 figures, bro. I keep going down. I started with 5. Matter of fact, I started with 6. And then I went down to 5. Now I'm down to 4. Give me 4 figures. Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all your favorite athletes' performances. With their pick'em game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing high or low on the player's stats, such as passing yards, touchdowns, and more. I need to lock in my plays. I think I'm gonna do it Sunday morning because I'm gonna be in DC for a little bit. But I definitely told you all, and I'm gonna stick with this. I got Jaden Daniels higher than 283.5 passing and rushing yards. I'm doing Saquon Barkley. I'm actually frozen on Saquon Barkley. He's at 131.5. That is ridiculous. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I may go lower. Or I may just keep him off the board completely. I don't think I'm gonna touch Saquon anymore because 131.5, that's probably one of the highest ones I've ever seen in my life. So I'm gonna go ahead and backtrack off Saquon. But I may go a little bit lower on Jalen Hurts, 180.5 passing yards. I may go lower than that. And I like that right there. And where's Zach Ertz at? Zach Ertz has no receptions. He has only receiving yards. 32.5. F it, I'll take it. Give me Zach Ertz over higher than 32.5 receiving yards. Hope you all were following. Think Underdog is the only pick'em platform that puts power to cash in your hands. Now you can either keep riding with your entry or tap the win now button to cash out whenever you want. And every dog deserves a second chance. With Underdog Rescues, you can get your money back and receive an early promo if an early injury causes your entry to lose. I tell y'all all the time that I talk about that part. It's important because other platforms don't even care if a player gets hurt when you make an entry. You put the money down, and all of a sudden, boom, he gets hurt 2 plays later. You can't even avoid it. It's terrible. Underdog understand where they at with that position. Injuries and the Underdog Rescue is perfect for those type of situations. Again, Underdog is the best place to pay pick'em. Download the app, sign up using promo code Trap or Dive. Deposit now, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. I repeat, that is promo code Trap or Dive. You must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Vote in Colorado for some games. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambler.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. Boom. All right, fellas. Anybody else got a burning question?
I do.
Yes, sir. Let's hear it.
My burning question is about the topic right now in Philly. You know, they're talking about, you know, obviously Jalen Hurts' injury and his mobility and what, you know, lack thereof or whatever the case may be. My question is, how do you go into this game planning for Jalen Hurts? Do you game plan like this guy may have limited mobility? Or are you prepared for this guy to just, this could all be a decoy right now? Like, and my thing is, I think you need to be prepared for anything. But how do you all go into this game planning for Jalen Hurts?
I mean, I think that there's limited mobility for sure. I don't think it's a decoy. It's not a fake injury. You can see it in the play. On the field, you can also see it in the clip that's been cycling through X today. I think the injury is real, but I also think that Nick Sirianni's bravado and ego is so big that he'll still try to force the fact that he is a threat in the run game. But in actuality, he can't really move. So it's just taking advantage of your opportunities to hit him in the pocket, outside the pocket. Just do what you need to do to make a play overall. But until you really see them utilize him in the run game and him actually being able to take advantage of those opportunities, I don't see him as a threat at all running the ball. Like, he's not about to run for 70 yards like he did against the Rams and break that one for a touchdown. I would just play him aggressively. But the main thing, it all starts with Saquon Barkley. You now take away a factor of him necessarily being a threat to break that big run, and you can solely focus on Saquon. Even if I were to have to read the option, I'm going after Saquon. If he wants to get on the outside and possibly get leveled by Luvu, Wagner, or Chin, or even a Sandstrill or Marshawn, all those dudes are willing to come down and hit him. So that's how I would play him.
I think you probably gotta play them as if you didn't know that he was hurt. You know, I think you got a game plan for them to be who they are, which is a team that utilizes their quarterback a lot in their run game. I know that knee injury is definitely something real. I don't think that's a facade. I do think he is feeling that. But I also feel like Hurts is a big time competitor, and at the end of the day, natural instincts take over out there. And if it's read option situations, he's reading that play, not worrying about, my knee is hurt right now. I mean, we're talking about being a game away from the Super Bowl. These dudes going to empty the tank this week. So I think you don't want to still be, it'll be even worse. You still get beat by Jalen doing what he normally does, which is being mobile, and, he didn't. And you thought that he would be hampered with that injury. I think they only know how to be themselves. So I would still game plan to take him away in the run game. obviously Saquon is still number one. I'm still locked in on Saquon for sure. But I think Philly knows they don't want to be in a situation where they're having to throw the ball to win, like leaning on the pass game. And that's not to say that they can't win in the pass game at times. I think that they know that they can, but they also know what their bread and butter is. They know how they're built. They're built to be led by that run game. If that run game isn't going to be there for them, that's going to be a big blow to their offense. And Jalen Hurts is a part of that run game when it's at its best.
Yeah, I think what's interesting, and shout out to the people manipulating the quote that Joe Witt put out there about Jalen Hurts. He gave a full, probably like minutes worth response, and they clipped like the 25 seconds of it. But odds are, I mean, he told the truth in that clip too, and it was more just of a general understanding. Like, we're not assuming that he's hurt, and if it's the coordinator who wants to utilize him on design runs, like predetermined, like we're going to use him as a ball carrier, we're going to smack you like a running back. And it's honestly the same thing that they said the same thing with Baker Mayfield 2 weeks ago. And where was all this noise? Like, they hitting him like a running back. They said that. So, I mean, I think it's funny, but to the point of Jalen Hurts, I just think, honestly, I don't know if he's truly hurt or not. Even that clip, honestly, I tried to like take away the narrative and just look at it, like try to look at it objectively. And it could also be a person that's just jogging through the rep and not taking the rep too seriously. So I know a lot of people have their opinion on that. I don't know. Like, maybe they do have something in store where like he's perfectly fine, or maybe he's going to get something before the game that's going to, take away the pain. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I wouldn't treat anything differently with Jalen Hurts, assuming that he's hurt. I mean, there's probably going to be ways schematically where you could test him. Like, you can maybe send an overload blitz and force him to a side that he's not comfortable throwing on, or excuse me, that he maybe not even comfortable. Either way, throwing or running. Like, people have their favorite sides that they do either or. But that's on them to kind of figure out. Like, you can overload a side. You can. I mean, hopefully, if your interior guys, John Allen, which was one of my X factors, I think if they're winning in the interior, or you send Bobby Wagner's on those green dogs, like I think. Honestly, bro, like if you can create that interior rush that gets him moving outside or inside the pocket, like, and just running around, like I think you can create that type of panic. And honestly, the game planning is not going to be super difficult, but like make it as complicated as you did with Jared. Like, understand what his strength is and what his weaknesses are, and we kind of understood that from Kurt yesterday, where he mentioned. If his strengths are vertical, but his weaknesses are over the middle, how do you defend that? I mean, the same way that they knew that Jared Goff was going to be as aggressive as he was, like you don't really go for the checkdowns if you need some yards. Like, give him the check down. Like, take the check down. I dare you. We're gonna play a soft cover too. And if you want to fit that, if you want to try and fit the ball into the honey hole, bro, good luck. We're gonna pick that off. So I just think it's the coordinator's job, obviously speaking, but like understand what his weaknesses are. If he's not throwing across the middle of the field, like, thank you. We're just not going to give you that boundary, or maybe bait you into the boundary. What's your primary? Well, they got to figure those things out. What's your first read? That's kind of what they got to figure out. But honestly, I wouldn't change a thing in terms of like game planning. I would assume he's 100%. I would just find ways to get him on the move just to see athletically. In game, like what can I push and what should not push when it comes to Jalen? That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do think the best game plan, regardless of whether he was hurt or not, is, and I've been saying this all week, is you have to make him throw. Like, that's the guy I want to beat me versus Saquon, because I know Saquon can beat me. Like, Saquon almost beat me the last game. He beat me the first game. Like, Jalen Hurts didn't beat you the first game. That was Saquon. And in the second game, before Jalen Hurts got injured, and the only reason I'm thinking about this and his mobility and everything was he was able to scramble out of the pocket a couple of times, and he was successful scrambling. He wasn't successful in the very limited throws that he had in the game. But he was able to get out of the pocket. He was able to pick up first downs with his legs a couple of times until he did get injured in the game. So, again, and I do agree with Cordell. I mean, he's a competitor. This guy is going to come out there and he's probably going to forget about the knee injury. He's probably going to be on more drugs than Scarface at the end of the movie. So, I'm saying, he may not feel anything. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just one of those things. But I just want to be prepared for anything that comes on Sunday. And I know that Joe Witt will be too. Like, I love Joe Witt's confidence. And I'm kind of sick of Eagles fans just kind of taking everything out of proportion. These guys are acting so soft. Like this wasn't a team that played them body bag games and everything.
That's why we got to beat them, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Everything now it's like they're trying to draw up some kind of fake outrage for their team to get pumped up for this game. Like, nobody on Philly side is probably moved by Joe Witt's comments, because I guarantee you that Big Fangio was saying the same goddamn thing on the other side. Like, we got to treat Jada Daniels like a running back if we can get our hands on him. Like, this is, you're not saying anything, preposterous, unheard of to hear Joe Witt say something like that. He was asked the question, he answered it honestly. So I think everyone's a little annoyed and sick of these Eagles fans that acting like everything has to be some outrage just to draw up some kind of fake confidence for their team or whatever the case.
It's just a built-in excuse for when they lose.
Yeah, I ain't giving that then. I ain't letting them have it.
That's really all it is, because the realistic side is Jalen Hurts suffered 2 concussions in matchups against Washington. That first matchup Thursday night on Amazon Prime, he had a concussion. Like, he definitely had a concussion, and they continue to still keep him out there. He played. And then the second matchup, he definitely was knocked out with a concussion, and he really still probably isn't even back in his groove yet at the position. Concussions, especially if you're not familiar with having them, it take a long time to necessarily just get back in the groove. I mean, you seen Austin Eckler got a concussion. He was out for 4 weeks. Like, it all depends. Even in the past, Ben St. Juice, his first concussion ever, and me personally, talking to him with that was in Denver, and he was trying to get adjusted for a long time. It'll be interesting, man. I think it's just a built-in excuse for why, if we lose, it's really going to be, Washington went out there and intentionally tried to hurt our Jalen Hurts.
Man.
If we in the Super Bowl, I don't care. Hey, congratulations, right. He's hurt. Sit down and recover for the offseason, bro.
Like, man, it's playoff football, and it's a divisional rival game in the NFC Championship game. Everybody out there smacking helmets, dog. It is what it is. But what I have kind of grown tired of, since we all taken a swing at this Eagles fan pinata, is the fact of all this excuse of, they beat us without Jalen Hurts. First of all, no, Jalen Hurts played. He didn't finish the game. He got knocked out of that game. But also, I feel like what gets overlooked is on that first matchup on the Thursday night game, Jaden wasn't healthy. Dog, you could see the night and day difference between Jaden that was still battling that rib injury between the healthy Jaden Daniels that's incorporated in the run game, that's fluid with his throwing motion, that is playing fearless football. That's the difference. That's not the one that they saw in that first matchup out in Philly. So look, both sides could kind of say that each team has won a game without their quarterback being on their best. Yeah, exactly. And on a short week at that. So I mean, it's always what could have been an excuse built in here and there, Ben. But they all buckling up their chin strap. Ain't none of these dudes 100% healthy throughout the year. Everybody got something, but both teams have had issues at the quarterback position health wise in both of these games.
Hell yeah. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me catch up with the chat. Let's get our score predictions as well, chat. Let's get our predictions and MVPs on our side as well. I also know that Dre gave his burning question. So if we did have one with AJ or you, Cordell, we can definitely run through it. But I'm gonna go through the chat, check out what everybody's saying. Jay Tizzy said that. Excuse me. Let me start with Ant. Okay. Ant said going tempo like we do to help the our O-line does good with tempo. Jay Tizzy, Eckler and the flats is going to be key. He did have 8 catches for 89 yards in the first game. like 95, 96 total yards of all purpose. Basically 6 yards rushing. Yeah, I think the tempo is the main thing that Jay Tizzy and Ann is saying. Anthony, Lord, he said Ben Sinnott. He thinks it's Ben Sinnott game. And John Bates. I don't know about Ben, bro. I think Ben is exactly where he belongs right now, brother. He is a spectator. He needs to get the experience on the sideline, on the pine. But nah. Where we at? Realistic said move JD outside the pocket. We need to limit Dallas Goedert. Ant said he's an X factor for Philly. Fair enough. D. Scotty Chin played amazing last time. He did. Where we at? Kevin asked, does Lattimore still follow AJ, or do they have enough faith in Mikey? Honestly, I don't think anybody's following. My opinion, I don't think anybody's following anybody this week. What do you all think as I keep going through this? Do you think we playing star coverage against the Philadelphia Eagles?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I think that first matchup Marshawn had against AJ Brown, wasn't that like his second game back?
Yeah.
Second.
I think he's had more reps, more opportunity to play at a faster speed. He's a dog. He want that. He want that smoke. Like, Marshawn also understands, like, in his career, he has not reached even this level with the New Orleans Saints. So it's a blessing. Most times when people get traded, they get traded, especially in season, they get traded to bad situations. Here he is, one game away from going to the Super Bowl and playing in the city that drafted him, and he just came from. Like, he a dog. He want that smoke. Like, so, yeah, I have no problem with him traveling. I think that should be a part of the plan. I don't think you should start switching.
I don't think. Well, I don't even know if he followed in Detroit. Is where I was getting. Detroit.
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
Detroit didn't follow, but he primarily stayed at right side corner.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's why, like, it's a side. That's why I was like, I don't think they'll follow, but I don't think it's a problem if they play star. I just don't think. That's kind of their plans. But Cordell, you about to say something?
Yeah, I think they should kind of stick with what they did last week in Detroit. And I know it's a different receiving core, but Mike's playing with a lot of confidence right now, man. He's playing at a high level, and a lot when you do decide to have a guy travel, it does kind of it push a. I don't want to say it push a defense in limbo, but it does change things with how you're playing defense. And so I think that they have two good corners in Lattimore and Sainristil, especially the way Sainristil is playing right now. I don't think you have to put all that pressure on Lattimore to force this one-on-one battle. He's going to get plenty of action even if he ain't following AJ. I think he'll be involved. I think they should at least at the beginning see what happens. And hey, if AJ gets a couple on Mike or anybody else and they feel like, all right, they want to put Lattimore on him to kind of slow him down, or Devontae start going off, whatever, all right. But I think they'll be all right just letting them dudes play on each side, man, and balling out.
Hey, man, you had to watch Brandon Stevens all season.
Man, be Steve a cool dude, but yeah.
Hey,
I don't know why I just thought about that, but I'm like, boy, if there was a competition of ass between him and Michael Davis, boy, I don't know.
Man.
He said ass between the
I mean,
you ain't got to answer that, Cordell.
I'm about to say, Steve a free agent, man. He going somewhere else most likely.
Yeah, he gonna be playing with the DC Defenders.
Oh Lord. let's go ahead and get through a couple more. I see the predictions in the chat as well. Where was the one with Jalen Hurts? Kevin said Witt was basically daring Jalen to run today through the media. Hurts is like Russell Wilson. Jay Tizzy said first read to check down, the first read to scramble, throw the ball away. Hurts hasn't won any playoff games that he's thrown for over 300. In his 4 wins, he's thrown for under 200. Okay. This is going to be the first one he loses under 200. Put that out there. All right, we are in the predictions. Aaron said big game for Diami, not a good matchup for Slade. We seen last time he got hurt. All right, we got the.
Maybe I do have a burning. Quick little burning question. We could do yes or no so we could move on. Does Diami Brown have another?
Come on, man.
Another week.
Come on, man. I told you what happened after that Tampa game, bro. It ain't nothing changing. I don't know if that means 100 yards, but like in the context of who Diami Brown was before the playoffs, yes, I think he has another one. I think he's going to have to step up because, I mean, obviously a lot of focus is going to be on Terry, but I can see another 5-6 catch game. I can see 60+ yards from Diami. I can see a touchdown. Like, I can see all of that from Diami this week. It's just the way he's been able to stretch the field the last 2 weeks, bro. Specifically against Detroit. The first game, Tampa Bay, he was getting a lot near like the first and second level. But the way he's been able to stretch the field, like these past couple games, and getting these yards, these explosive plays is something where it's like I don't think it's stopping anytime soon. And he's going to have those opportunities. It's probably going to be like one or two. That's going to be downfield, and you connect on those one or two that's downfield, bro. You might be the one that breaks the game open.
Hey, Jay Tyler called Diami Brown downtown Diami Brown.
Even balling, AJ. I know you don't like him at all, but hey,
you know, Jay Tizzy in his 50s, bro.
Look. The last
jive turkey.
the last Eagles game we
you might
played,
as well call Diami Brown a jive turkey.
The last Eagles game we played, Diami Brown beat Darius Slay down the field, and that opened the game up for the offense. I mean, I think we were struggling at that point. It may have been like 14-0 at that point, and we were just looking down and out in the game, and we had to drive 96 yards down the field, and it was Diami who opened the game up against Darius Slay, who was having a hell of a game up to that point when Diami beats him downfield. Mm-hmm. But I think what Diami has been doing these past couple of weeks, I personally don't think it's a fluke. I just think he's become an integral part of the offense since Noah Brown has went down. Like now, Jaden trusts him more. Cliff trusts him more. Like I said before, they're not just giving this guy screen passes anymore. They're trusting him with more routes on the field. They're trusting him in critical situations in games. And I don't think any of that changes in going into this game. I do think he's going to be an important part of the offense. So, yes, I do think Diami can have another one of those games where even you, AJ, might have to clap for him.
Yeah, I think he's going to get opportunities. I think he'll get his chances. You know, like that Detroit game, I agree. It showed how much they're starting to trust Diami with some of the vertical routes and crossing routes that they was giving him. I mean, and when he's getting a dime thrown at him like the one Jada threw last week, man, that's one of the best passes I've seen in a really, really long time, man, under duress too. But if Diami's going to make those contested catches, then yeah, I agree. I think he will. I think he's going to get chances because Jaden's playing aggressively right now. His trust in Diami is growing, and Jaden wants to take the top off the defense. So it's good to see that Terry ain't the only one that they got to really worry about hitting them on some of those stretch routes. You know, some of the ones that really opens up the third layer of a defense. I'm hoping they continue with that. Because that's going to open things up for people like Zach Ertz underneath. It's going to open things up for Crowd, all these guys that's underneath that coverage. But yeah, I love the confidence Diami's playing with right now. Hopefully his hands continue to be there with him because that's been the one thing with me for him in the past is, man, them hands, they just tend to look like water at times, boy. That ball going right through him.
Bruh, the fact that he even caught that pass without seeing is crazy. Like, bruh, you catch better not seeing than seeing. Like, but I mean, at the end of the day, I definitely think that he has an opportunity. Something that we haven't even said in this hour that we've been on here. Quinyon Mitchell has a shoulder injury, so that changes a lot at the other cornerback position. How healthy is he going to be? Having to even be impactful in the run game. Testing that shoulder, seeing if he'll come downhill to make a tackle. I will say Terry has not done a great job against Quinyon Mitchell, but at the end of the day, Diami has an opportunity to utilize his speed.
He scored a touchdown on him. Got a couple catches on that boy.
Last game, he got a touchdown.
And I think, and everybody like to go back to that first game, but I think that was more so a byproduct of him not getting the ball thrown at him, and that because I thought he was winning on some of those routes. I really did. I thought if Jaden was hitting some of them anticipation throws that he normally does, I thought that first game could have looked different had they gave Terry more than 3 targets that he got in that game, I think.
I mean, we'll see. You know, he said, you know, I'm a dog. I know what I'm gonna do. So hey, Sunday 6
Man, what a
p.m.
speech.
I hope that we get to run it back and say how impactful these guys were, man. But it's a huge game, not only for the fan base, but the entire DMV community. You know, a lot of people have been hanging on to their fandom. We even on our episodes during this season, we had on a lifelong Commanders fan that converted to Ravens side. He returned back to the Commanders.
Oh man!
Imagine he returned his fandom back to the Washington Commanders Redskins franchise, and they are one game away from the Super Bowl. Like, so yeah, I'm just excited to see this game. I can't even lie to y'all.
Predictions, let's get it.
If them boys gets to the Super Bowl, I probably cry on Trap or Die. Like,
oh no
joke. Because it's like, I think all of us here, and maybe Cordell, if it happens, we could all come out here and really share like our stories of fandom, like how we even became fans of this team. But it all is deep rooted in like family and different things of why you started liking this team. So it's like, if that happens, I instantly think about, you know, my mom that I unfortunately lost, how, you know, she would talk to me about the games, maybe didn't know the nuances of football all the way, but she damn sure knew that Daniel Snyder had this team cursed, you know. She definitely used to tell me he's playing around with them Native Americans, and until he get right with them, ain't nothing successful gonna happen for this organization. And yeah, it's just a whole bunch of those things. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I got tears of joy on Sunday. But yeah,
go to your prediction, bro.
Yeah, get in the prediction.
Oh, I mean, for me, I got Washington
MVP,
winning.
of course, too.
I got Washington winning this game. If I have to get down to a specific score, I'll say Washington 31 and the Eagles 23. That will be the final score to get to the Super Bowl. MVP of the game is Jaden Daniels, and the other MVP will be the entire defense, because I think that Saquon Barkley doesn't have as impactful of a day as many project him to have. Even, you know, with Jahmyr Gibbs going crazy last week, it's two different styles of offenses and also weapons on the outside. Jameson Williams is a real ass speed. Like, you talking about Usain Bolt at wide receiver. Eagles don't have that. But I just think that they have an impactful game defensively. And I think these boys are locked in and understand that opportunity is right there for the grabbing. Like their motto says, what is it? Anytime, anywhere, any place. Yeah. Sunday at Lincoln Financial is the time and the place for you to get to where you want to go, which is New Orleans for the Super Bowl.
Hey, well, yeah, I guess I'll go ahead. And, you know, to kind of concur with AJ, like I said, this is a big game. It could be an emotional thing. That's why I want to be around family watching this, because this is we don't get to see this often. I mean, hopefully this is a reoccurring thing where we'll be, you know, get familiar with this and we'll be used to this. But because we're not, you know, I feel like this is the best time to watch this game with family who's kind of got you into this moment. With that said, I mean, I've been picking us to win all playoffs. I'm not going to stop right now. And I think Washington wins this game 27-23. I think Eagles kick 3 field goals in this game, and Washington gets 3 touchdowns in this game. So I'm going with Washington. And who else would I pick in this game but MVP but Jaden Daniels? He's been the MVP all year. Why would he not be the MVP at the biggest stage they played at yet? So 27-23, Washington MVP Jaden Daniels.
So let me catch up with the chat, and we're gonna say I'm gonna get my prediction, and we said Cordell for last. I saw one scrolling up. Where is they at? Jay Tizzy said 27-17. Good guys. MVP is JD5. Dennis Bailey said 24-16. Commanders get out on top off the rip, 14-0, and finish the game 24-16. Moving on to the Super Bowl. We have a couple more. All Talk said 34-24 Commanders. MVP is Dorrance Armstrong. He has been on fire this postseason. So I'm rocking with you for the versatility. I don't think that's even the right word, but Dorrance Armstrong, I'm cool with that. K Friend 31-20, watching going to that bowl. MVP is JD5. Okay. And all right, well, let me give Indian Lake a little shout out because he gave his little flashback like AJ did. My first pack of football cards I bought at my local IGA at 8 years old. I got a 73 Topps card of Larry Brown that made him a fan. Hey man, bring that to the show on Sunday if we mess around and win. We can do call-ins, bro. Who knows?
Oh, we definitely going all out. Super Bowl?
Yeah, got to. All right, my score 24-21 Washington. I don't think this game is going to be any short of theatrics. I think that this is going to be another game where Jaden puts them over the top late in the game. It is going to be scary in real time because I'm like, bro, we better not lose these boys. But I think Jaden going to get that ball. He's going to drive us down the field wherever they at. Maybe a 90-yard drive. I don't know. Maybe a 40-yard drive. I have no idea. But he's not giving them an opportunity to tie it. I think Washington wins in another thriller. But 24-21, the good guys. And obviously, because we're talking about Jaden leading to a game-winning drive, he is going to be my MVP.
Yeah, I do think Washington wins. Spoiler alert! I mean, shocker there. But I'm gonna say 33-20. I think we're gonna get a couple of turnovers in this game from the defense. I think the offense is kind of going to carry that momentum in this game. I think they're going to come out on fire. I do think the offense is going to be the one to set the tone. Maybe they get ball to start the game and they take it up the field and they score first and put the pressure on Philly. But I think ultimately I could see 2 turnovers from that Philly offense and that being enough to give Washington the space that they need. But I think offensively the Commanders will have their way, and it's going to force Philly to try to play catch up and get out of their game, and that's how those turnovers come. So I say Washington wins 33-20, and I'm going to say that the MVP, obviously Jaden is going to play like an MVP, but just to give something different, I'm going to say Lattimore. I think Lattimore gets one of those turnovers. I think he's the one that gets the turnovers. Last week it was Mikey. This week it's going to be Lattimore. I think he's had enough time now, enough games under his belt where this may be the best version of him that we've seen to this point since he's been in Washington.
Indian Lake also gave a prediction. He got this thing. Hey, if you follow Barn Burner, hit the over. If you follow Indian Lake, 43-40, Commanders get the dub from Indian Lake, man. Okay. We win, so I'm with it. I'm cool with it.
Right.
All right. So that's gonna wrap it up for us. Hey, Cordell, I appreciate you all. Appreciate you for joining us again. You can listen to Cordell if you're in the Baltimore area, man. 105.7 The Fan. He covers the Orioles and obviously the guys down the Beltway, the Baltimore Ravens, man. Or BW Parkway, however you want to slice it. But yeah, man, I appreciate you joining us once again. And obviously this ain't gonna be the last time, but hopefully next time we are.
We gonna run it back Sunday if you
on this show.
Sunday if you free, we win. Hey, just pop in for a little bit.
Pop some champagne, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I've been feeling. Look, it could be whatever, but you get to this time of the year, you get to this round, man. It's real. You could dream big. So all week I just been speaking it into existence. Dog.
I've been feeling good too.
I think I really feel like they got this. I feel stress free. I don't feel any concern. Not to say I'm overlooking them. By no means am I doing that, but. Like you said, Mual, I feel good about this game. Maybe it's the familiarity, whatever it is. I'm chilling, dog. I'm ready for Sunday.
It's the Final Four. You're here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You're not here by accident. You went out there and you just beat the best team in the conference, and you beat another team that was favored over you on the road. Like we're not here by accident. We're here to boogie just with the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Like we here to do whatever they want to do. So it's game.
Last thing too, though, this is actually going to be the third time in NFL history if they win where a team has beaten the top 3 seeds in their conference in a single postseason. Like and it's going to be the third team ever to reach the Super Bowl as a 6th seed if they get this done. But like this is a different breed right here, and I think they're gonna make that shit shake, bro.
We had the best quarterback in the conference. That's what happens when you have the best quarterback in the conference.
Hey, Pat versus Jaden. Number 1 versus number 1.
Hey, I told somebody today, I feel like history is going to be made this year. Either we're going to get the first three-peat or we're going to get the first rookie to win a Super Bowl. I feel like one of those two is coming. But I feel like that's the script. That was the script this year. They going to make history, and it's about to be one of those two. But that's what I'm betting on.
Yeah, man. I'm not nervous at all. I just wish I could fast forward to Sunday to hear the result.
3 more sleeps.
Yeah, I think that Washington's prepared for this moment, and I feel like when you believe, like, you can reach anything that you want in this world. Like the famous all-time NBA great Kevin Garnett once said after winning a championship, anything is possible. And right now, anything is possible, and they have an opportunity to go get that championship. It may not make sense to some people that don't watch the team or don't know the journey or whatever, but Dan Quinn has been waiting on this opportunity once again to get to that position, and he damn sure is going to utilize all his hours and resources to get back there and rewrite even his own coaching history of the blunder of the 28-3 against the Patriots. So he knows the importance of this, and that opportunity may not come. I mean, Dan Quinn waited a long time to get another head coaching gig, even to be in this opportunity. Those guys, the Bobby Wagners of the world, the Zach Ertz, they won championships. So they know what it takes and what it looks like. I definitely see Washington doing what many deem to be impossible and making it a reality on Sunday. And I'm looking forward to catching back up with y'all on Sunday, 6:00. And hopefully we doing a little two-step with some tequila in our hand, partying, getting ready for Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
Hell yeah, man. All right. Hey, everybody in chat, we appreciate y'all watching. Again, morning show is tomorrow morning. And then we'll be back Sunday post-game, man. So y'all take it easy. Be safe. Enjoy the weekend, man. We out of here.
Chop it down. Chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Damn, set. Watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Die.